we need to talk. I keep seeing all these videos about making my dream game, Devlog 0. I even did it myself. Today, I'm starting the journey to create my dream game. Yeah, that game's not happening anymore. Dream games are awesome. You probably yourself have your own dream game. If you do, here's what I want you to do. Take some paper, something to write with, and write down your dream game. You got it? Did you write it down? Okay. I want you to take that idea, but don't get rid of it. So a long time ago, I was interested in game development, all because of a game, Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. I was so interested in how the game worked and how it played. I wanted to learn how to make games. And so I jumped right in with my dream game. It was very Zelda-esque, different fighting styles for different types of weapons. It was huge. And I started it, and there was no way for me to execute on such a large idea. And I was so frustrated, I ended up quitting. I didn't touch game development until 15 years later. And here's the thing. I don't want you to have the same problem that I did. I don't want you to quit. So let's do a little work. So you have a dream game idea. It may actually be a really good idea. You just shouldn't make it yet. So the first step in my 5-step dream game intervention, if you have an idea for a dream game, write it down. It's awesome to have a dream game idea. It's more about how do you take that idea and you execute to create something you can actually play and show to people. Keep track of these ideas because you don't know when you might forget them. Step 2, we're not gonna go to the computer. You're gonna sit down, paper to pen, and write it out. And the main goal here is to reduce. We wanna take our dream game idea and take one game mechanic and focus our idea into something that's achievable. Look, I have game ideas all the time, as I'm sure you do too. A big problem with that is you get lots of different big ideas and you don't act on any of them. So focus in on a smaller idea that you can actually achieve. You've taken your dream game, you've focused it, and now you have a smaller idea that you can actually work on. Time to evaluate what you need to actually make the dang thing. Do you need character assets, art assets? What kind of textures do you need? Do you need textures at all? You need sounds. Do a little research to get an idea of what you need to get started on your prototype. And yeah, we're gonna call it a prototype. All right, let's say you figured out what you need asset-wise to build what you're trying to build. The next thing you need to do is analyze what kind of scripting and code you need in order to make it. Look, I'm gonna be real honest. The coding part is more than likely gonna be the hardest thing for you. So it's important to try to think about what exactly you need to do code-wise in order to create your prototype. Let's say you're making a 3D prototype and you have to move your character. That's a script. How does the player move? How fast do they move? What kind of inputs are going to move the player? How far back is the camera? Does the camera move when the player turns? A lot of people jump right into creating something and then eventually they stumble upon all of these issues. But if you think through the process, you're gonna think through all of these issues on paper. And it's a lot faster to do it on here than to try to do it when you're coding. So a good way to do this is just to think about your code step by step. Let's go back to our player character example. Well, to move, you're gonna need an input. So you need to figure out how the character is gonna move, and then you need to figure out how fast. Write that down. Next step. How do you see the character? You need to add a camera. How far is the camera away? How does the camera move when the player moves? Think about it, imagine it, write it down. What you're doing is kind of coming up with a task analysis where you can think through each step of the process, figure out what things might go wrong, and problem solve before you actually have to get your hands dirty and code. Okay, you've got your idea. Focus that idea. You have your assets. You've written out all of your code ideas. Let's make the thing. This is what you wanted to do in the first place, and now you can. But instead of this big, giant idea that you can't execute, you have a smaller idea, you have it all planned out. You're gonna find that it is so much easier to make it. So whenever you have a dream game idea, I want you to follow those 5 steps, and you're gonna find that you're gonna be making a lot more games that people can actually play, and not just some idea stuck in your head. If you are working on a dream game, let me know in the comments, and as always, keep creating.